Good. Okay, ready to go.
All right.
Good evening and welcome to the May 19th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. This is our second meeting conducted by Zoom video conferencing and not at City Hall. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Whitmer has issued executive orders 2020-21 and 2020-75 which suspend the provisions of the Open Meetings Act as they relate to public bodies meeting in person during this public health. This executive order allows the Planning Commission to continue to move forward and carry out the important functions of planning and development meeting agendas while maintaining a safe and healthy meeting environment for everyone involved. If any member of the public would like to speak on a particular agenda item or during public comment, you will be recognized by calling into the Zoom meeting and using the ID number. Once you are on the call, press 9 to speak on the phone or raise your hand in the Zoom application. All comments and questions will be audio only and limited to 3 minutes per person. Each member of the public that wishes to speak on an item will be asked to state and spell their name with their address for the record. Members of the public may also comment on an agenda item by sending an email to planning@rochesterhills.org. Ms. Gentry, will you take roll call, please?
Yes. Chairperson Bernabic?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Hooper?
Here.
Secretary Kaltsunis?
Here.
City Council Member and Commissioner Boyer?
Here.
Commissioner Detloff?
Here.
Commissioner Gaber?
Here.
Commissioner Neubauer?
Here.
Commissioner Reese?
Here.
Commissioner Weaver?
Here.
Okay, we have a full board and a quorum. We'll move on to approval of the minutes for the April 21st, 2020 regular meeting. Are there any comments or corrections for those minutes?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Kaltsunis, seconded by Mr. Hooper for approval of the minutes. We'll take a roll call vote.
Kaltsunis?
Yes.
Hooper?
Yes.
Neubauer?
Yes.
Boyer?
Yes. Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Detloff?
Yes.
Gaber?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Bernabic?
Yes, that motion passes unanimously. I do not have anything for communications tonight, so we will move on to public comment. Ms. Gentry, are there any email communications?
No, we have none.
Okay, Ms. Roediger, is there any member of the public that wishes to speak?
Looking at the attendees right now, I don't see anyone raising their hand or dialing in, so not at this time.
Thank you, then I will close public comment. We'll move on to unfinished business. Request for tree removal permit, city file number 19-026 for the removal and replacement of as many as 171 trees for Hamlin outdoor storage. Proposed recreational vehicle storage facility on 9.7 acres located on the north side of Hamlin between John R. and DeQuinder, zoned I industrial, parcel number 15-24-326-004. Michael Kleinman and from Weingan Development is the applicant. We'll give it a few seconds for the applicants up on the panel.
Can you see me?
No.
You can't. How's that?
Yeah. See you now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I have a new webcam, so this is my first go around with it.
Okay, so there is you and Lori that are on the panel tonight?
That's correct.
Okay, we can't see Lori. But I will have you just at this point, if you'll please introduce yourself for the record.
Sure. Michael Kleeman, first of all, thank you again for allowing me to come back. Planning Commission, Michael Kleeman from Wiegand's here on the Hamlin outdoor storage facility. We had a great meeting, I think, during the last meeting, some great input from the panel, and we've resubmitted plans addressing, I think, all of the issues, including the berm height along Hamlin. We've also added a berm between Hamlin Road and the detention pond to address the sight line from the road to the detention pond. We've also added between that new berm of the detention pond and Hamlin Road, we've added 22 tree plantings in there to also add some additional screening to what's already existing there. We've included the line of sight illustrations to give you an idea of what it would look like with the new berm if you were passing by in a vehicle along Hamlin. And also we were asked for a little bit of gate detail that we also included with our package.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kaplanski.
Thank you.
Please.
Yep, good evening, everyone. So Michael just gave a good approximation of the changes that have been made to the plan, but I'll just kind of touch on a few highlights. As you'll all recall, the site is zoned industrial, which does permit recreational vehicle storage. And in order to achieve the required screening, the applicant is showing a berm surrounding the storage area along with some landscaping. As was noted, this appeared at the previous Planning Commission meeting, and at that time, the commission did postpone the item for a number of reasons. The applicant has stated they've provided the requested line of sight drawings, which again show appropriate screening along Hamlin, and the berm along Hamlin has also been raised by 2 feet. A detail of the gate has been provided. The vertical and horizontal scales have been adjusted to match, and then plantings have been added between the proposed berm and the detention pond along Hamlin as well. A natural feature setback modification, wetland use permit, and tree removal permit are all required, and staff is recommending approval of all of those items along with approval of the site plan subject to some minor plan modifications. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gentry, is there any email communication? Mike's off. Okay, Ms. Roediger, do we have any public comment?
No, I'm not seeing anyone indicate a desire to speak.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any further comment, Mr. Clayman?
No, just if the board would have any questions, myself and I think Lori may have joined now.
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I do have a question. There was a recommendation to reduce the Douglas firs on the berm and plant other spruces or firs due to the fact that there's a low survival rate in for Douglas firs in Rochester Hills. I wondered if you took note of that.
We did take note of that. I'm sure you've heard of Wiegand Nursery on the east side. They're a family member, and we'll be contracting with them, and we're going to lean on them pretty heavily as far as our plannings go and what is going to do the best in that area for sustainability.
Okay, so you don't have any idea what you would replace those with, or if you?
No, but it would be obviously in the same family of trees, but you know, we're gonna take their recommendation on what's going to be, you know, as far as what's going to do best, so we don't lose, or we lose as few trees as possible.
Okay. Would you, before this moves to City Council, will you revise the site plan page 10 with the plantings that you do plan to use? So it'll be stated correctly versus the 31 Douglas firs.
Yeah, we certainly could do that.
Okay, thank you.
And they may come back and tell us that may be our best bet. So we may come back and tell you their recommendation would be to stay with what's proposed, but we can certainly change that if that's their direction.
Okay, I think as far as survival from what I know, the others that you have listed, the Norway spruce, the Black Hill spruce, and the concolor fir would all work there. Just the Douglas fir.
Well, would it be acceptable if we eliminated the Douglas fir?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. We'll just do that evenly. We're taking 22 out, we'll split them up evenly amongst the other 3 species, or as close as we can, obviously.
Okay, yeah, okay, that works well, because, yeah, we're asking that the Douglas fir,
Okay,
be deleted. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Gaber.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mike, thank you very much for making the accommodations that we requested last time. I mean, we certainly appreciate that. And this looks like a good plan with a lot of screening. Could you just, for my edification, just explain the changes in the, the berm and the plantings from the way you had originally proposed it?
Yeah, I will. And Laura, you guys can jump in anytime you want. I think the original proposed berm along Hamlin Road was 8 feet from the roadside.
Correct.
Inside of the parking area, it was 4 feet.
Okay.
So we raised that total berm height by 2 feet. So it gives us 10 feet berm height on the outside, the Hamlin Road side, and 6 feet on the inside on the parking side. So that would raise everything up, including the plantings, an additional 2 feet. The additional plantings, if you look a little to the west of the entrance where the proposed detention pond is, some concern that it's somewhat unsightly of that pond from the road. So we added a berm in front of that pond, so you couldn't see it from Hamlin Road. And then also that open area between the berm and Hamlin Road, we added 22 additional planting of trees in there to assist with screening.
Okay. No, thank you.
Welcome.
One question I had looking at this and driving out there, obviously the road surface is higher than the pathway, so it's a little bit elevated. And I see on your diagrams here, the sight lines and such. I don't know, how thick the trees will be to begin with and what the lines of sight will be. Noting that this surface, this is just going to be gravel, a dirt type surface. You're not going to pave any of this, right?
It would be gravel.
Okay. What I was wondering is if it would be possible, if you would agree, just because of the sight lines and such, could you put a drive aisle right on the other side of the berm? And I mean, would it be amenable to you to agree to then park the vehicles, like say 20 feet behind that? So you got your drive aisle right as you turn in on the inside of the berm. And then, then after that 20-foot drive aisle or whatever it is, then you start parking vehicles to basically increase the lack of view to offset the campers a little bit more from the road. I was wondering if that's, something that could be done.
How about this? I'd be certainly willing to discuss it with our engineer. If we take 20 feet out behind that berm, I'm going to lose that whole first row of parking.
But since you don't have designated parking spaces, couldn't you just move everything back?
I could theoretically, but that's 20. That's like a whole row of parking that we would lose. We've actually lost quite a bit with the addition of that detention pond on the west side. We lost quite a bit of parking space.
Okay. Well, could we ask maybe then that, those spaces are filled up last?
Yeah, or with smaller vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that. If you could consider that as a condition, if staff could work with you on that, please.
We could certainly park nothing. How about nothing over 10 feet high in that spot?
Frankly, I'm not sure what 10-foot high is. I don't know what type of RVs.
Well, I will tell you this. We use those line of sight plans based on a 12-foot camper.
Okay.
So it'd be two, and I believe, I don't have those in front of me because I have them electronically.
What is the question?
The line of sight plans that we proposed, there's a 12-foot camper that we used to illustrate. And I believe that with a 12-foot
Yes,
camper,
it is.
Yeah, and the new berm would eliminate any sight of that. What I'm saying, Lori, is we will agree not to park anything over 10 feet. So we'll drop that row of parking down to 10 feet, even drop it lower on that line of sight.
Okay. No, that'd be appreciated. I mean, we certainly don't want to negatively impact your business, but to the extent you have capacity and you can do that and park away from it.
The other thing is we use 12 feet on camper for the line of sight illustration. Our research since the last meeting showed that 80% of RVs are 10.5 feet and smaller.
I see.
So fortunately, we're going to have smaller vehicles, and I think, or at least the majority of them will be smaller than what we originally thought.
Right.
Great. Okay, well, thank you very much for that accommodation.
Sure.
Mr. Hooper.
Thank you, Chairperson Barnavic. Great revisions, great plan. I like the project. One question is doesn't show, maybe I missed it, but what's the fence materials that are going to be reestablished? I assume you're going to put a fence back high into your gate on top of your berm. Is that correct?
Yeah. We're going to utilize the fence that is still there, or that is there.
But how are you going to do? You take it down and put it back up?
No, we're not going to move it at all.
The berm is behind the fence.
Oh, I got you. All right. So you're not going to have any fence at all. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. We'll have what is currently there, and we'll dress that fence up a little bit. That fence there was a fence there, and then I don't know, let's say 8-9 years ago, the city came through and put that path in.
Correct.
And we moved that path back away from Hamlin Road. And we did a little bit of jogging around to accommodate the neighbors both on the east and west. And when we did that, we lost the original fence. And then that's what was replaced back by the contractor.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Weaver.
Thank you. I think you guys did a great job bringing this back and responding to our comments. I really like the gate. I think it looks very nice. I appreciate you adding some more trees in there as requested. I think your sightline diagrams really help. The one question I had with regard to the trees, and this kind of will help, I think, answer Councilman Gaber's question as well, is I don't see any spacing for these trees. So it is kind of difficult to determine what it's going to be at planting. I don't know if there's any way that you can provide that information. Do we know how far apart these trees are planted?
We do. I don't off the top of my head, but I know if Tim is from.
Do you want me to add the information to the plan, or do you just want to know the answer right now?
If you know the answer right now, it'll help.
Okay.
But I think when we take it to council, if it was added,
it is dictated in the landscape requirements.
Right.
Okay.
The spacing is as dictated, but
While you're looking, Lori, for instance, on the 22 trees that we added in front of the detention pond, in front of that berm, that was the maximum that we could get in there based on spacing.
Okay.
okay, so if you look on sheet 10, there's under buffer notes.
Okay.
So for type A buffer, okay, plantings per 100 feet, it tells you how many trees are planted, and it says trees are planted at 33 feet on center. Okay.
Okay.
And the type E buffer per 100 feet, it gives you the amount of trees planted, and it says trees are planted at 10 feet on center.
Okay. Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Yes, and then the right-of-way plantings as well. So.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
no, that helps. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kalsunas.
I got the mute bug there. Thank you, Chairperson Bernabic. Also like to say the same. My colleague said great job on the plans and also establishing all of our questions and concerns and bringing resolution to them for this meeting. With that, I would like to move the motion in the packet for the tree removal permit. In the matter of city file number 19-026, Hamlin Outdoor Storage, the Planning Commission grants a tree removal permit based on plans dated and received by the Planning Department on May 4th, 2020, with the following two pre-printed findings. in 2 pre-printed conditions.
Do I have a second? Mr. Hooper? I have a motion by Mr. Kalsunas, seconded by Mr. Hooper, that the planning commission grants a tree removal. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, we will take a roll call vote, please, Ms. Gentry.
Yeltsin,
Yes.
Hooper,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Detloff,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Newbauer,
Yes.
Boyer,
Yes.
Bernabik.
Yes. That motion passes unanimously.
Chairperson Bernabik,
Kalsunas?
I would like to move the motion in the packet for the wetland use permit in the matter of city file number 19-026 Hamlin Outdoor Storage. The Planning Commission recommends the City Council approval of a wetland use permit to temporary and permanently impact approximately 5,471 square feet to construct a parking area and to install a sewer pipe based on plans dated and received by the Planning Department on May 4th, 2020, with the following 2 pre-printed findings and 4 pre-printed conditions.
Do I have a second? Reese? I have a motion by Mr. Kalsunas, seconded by Mr. Reese, that the Planning Commission recommends to City Council approval of a wetland use permit. Discussion on the motion. We will take a roll call vote, please.
Yeltsin,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Detloff,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Hooper,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Boyer,
Yes.
Newbauer, Bernabik.
Yes. That motion passes unanimously.
Chairperson Bernabik,
Mr. Kalsunas?
I would like to move the natural feature setback modification in the matter of city file number 19-026 Hamlin Outdoor Storage. The Planning Commission grants natural feature setback modifications for 424 linear feet for temporary and permanent impacts to construct the parking lot, install stormwater sewer line, and to install tree protection associated with the lead drain. Based on plans dated and received by the Planning and Economic Development Department on May 4th, 2020, with the following 2 pre-printed findings and 3 pre-printed conditions.
Mr. Reese? I have a motion by Mr. Kalsunas, seconded by Mr. Reese, that the Planning Commission grants natural feature setback modification. Any discussion on the motion? Take a roll call vote, please.
Yeltsin,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Boyer,
Yes.
Newbauer,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Detloff,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Hooper,
Yes.
Bernabik.
Yes, that motion also passes unanimously.
Chairperson Bernabik, I would like to move the site plan motion, but I just want to double check with our applicant. I have 2 side motions. One, that the applicant submit a revised landscape plan before City Council approval based on discussions from today's meeting to address the issues that you had, Ms. Bernabik. And also Mr. Gaber's request that the applicant parks no vehicles / trailers higher than 10 feet in the front row closest to the street. Does the applicant agree to those 2?
Yes.
Okay. With that, I would like to move the site plan motion in the matter of city file number 19-026 Hamlin Outdoor Storage. The Planning Commission approves the site plan based on plans dated received by the Planning Department on May 4, 2020, with the following 4 pre-printed findings, 3 pre-printed conditions, with 2 extra conditions: that the applicant submits a revised site plan before council approval based on discussions at today's meeting. And number 5, the second written extra motion, that the applicant parks no vehicles / trailers higher than 10 feet high in the front row closest to the street.
And we have a second by Mr. Reese. And just for clarification on the additional condition, which would be number 4, if the applicant is going to remove the 31 Douglas fir showed on that site plan sheet on page 10, and then show the combination of the other plantings by number. If you're using a combination of the Norway Black Hill and Pine Color Fir, so you'll just have correct numbers on that landscape sheet.
Yes.
I have a motion by Mr. Kalsunas, seconded by Mr. Reese, that the Planning Commission approves the site plan with the 4 pre-printed findings, 3 pre-printed conditions, and the 2 additional conditions as stated by Mr. Kalsunas. Discussion on the motion? Okay, roll call vote, please, Ms. Gentry.
Kalsunas,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Newbauer,
Yes.
Bowyer,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Detloff,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Bernabik.
Yes, that motion passes unanimously. And great job with the plan and congratulations on moving forward.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And just for the applicant, so they know they will be moving on to the city council meeting on June 8th for the wetland use permit. So we'll coordinate with you on that.
Great. Thank you. And I'd like to thank the council as well for their guidance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to new business. Request for a tree removal permit, city file number 19-038.2 for the removal and replacement of as many as 7 trees for a new Speedway gas station convenience store located at the southwest corner of Avon and Rochester Roads, Zone B3 Shopping Center Business with an FB3 flexible business overlay. Parcel number 15-22-226-022. Robert Sweet and McBride Dale Clarion are the applicants. Good evening to the applicants, and if you would just introduce yourself for the record before I move on to the staff report.
Sure thing. My name is Rob Sweet. I'm with McBride Dale Clarion. Address is 5721 Dragon Way, Suite 300, Cincinnati, Ohio 45227.
Thank you. We have
What's that?
This is Jacob Miller, Speedway Construction Project Manager, 500 Speedway Drive, Enon, Ohio 453.
Thank you. And do we have one more person on the panel?
This is Erica Randolph with SSOE. Address, I'm a consulting engineer for Speedway. Our address is 1001 Madison Avenue, Toledo, Ohio, 43604.
Okay, and are you all aware that you're not on video, you're only on audio?
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Ms. Kapelansky, staff report, please.
Yes, the applicant is proposing the redevelopment of the existing Speedway gas station. This is at the corner of Rochester and Avon Roads. If you'll recall, the Planning Commission recently recommended and the City Council approved a rezoning associated with this development that was a few months ago. The proposed store that they are showing would total 4,600 square feet, and there would also be a 4,700 square foot gas canopy. The 2 existing drives closest to the intersection would be closed. The plan is generally in compliance with ordinance requirements for gas stations in the B5 automotive service district with a few exceptions. The applicant is requesting a waiver for the maximum lighting intensity on the site. The under canopy lighting is slightly over the allowable 20-foot candles. In addition, lighting levels at the right-of-way and the west property line exceed the maximum intensity as well. The applicant has indicated that this additional lighting is required for security and operational purposes on the site, and the Planning Commission can modify those standards if they so choose. The applicant is also requesting a modification of the required parking, noting that many store patrons come from cars that are using the gas station pump. This is a waiver that's been commonly granted for gas station uses in the past. Lastly, the applicant is requesting several landscaping waivers. The size of the site and the need for visibility has prevented the applicant from planting the required trees, and they've instead proposed additional grasses and shrubbery in place of those trees. This is also a waiver that has been granted to gas stations in the past. A tree removal permit is required for the removal of 7 trees, some of which the applicant will try to replace on site, with the remainder to be paid into the city's tree fund. All staff reviews are recommending approval, subject to some minor plan modifications. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Sweet,
Yes.
did you have comment, presentation?
What was that? You're,
If you move forward.
Yes, okay, sorry about that. So with that being said, we were here as they said back in the end of 2019 for the rezoning. This is the lot that's in between the Burger King and the existing Speedway site. We rezoned that from B3 to B5. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank staff for working with us and helping us out through this, and really given us some good guidance as we've gone through this. You know, we talked about the building and the automobile fuel canopy. We talked about the parking. You know, the one thing that we did want to show to you all that we have reconfigured our access points and eliminated 2 driveways and shifted 2 driveways as far away to help out safety wise. We did widen the sidewalks and add the pedestrian pass on site. And we do have a shared access drive as well as a shared driveway into the Winchester district. We agree with the conditions and the statements in the staff report. I can run through more of the waivers if necessary, or kind of what we're looking to do, or y'all can just fire questions at me and we can figure it out from that point. So whatever the commission's cup of tea is.
I guess everyone's received those, and I'm sure commissioners have questions in regard to them.
Fair enough.
Ask about that.
You know, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, we feel that this is a good development. We feel it's a key piece on the corner, and it's going to complement the Winchester district very nicely. And you know, we feel that this redevelopment will help improve safety and aesthetics, and we look forward to your approval.
Thank you. Yes, I do have a question. Planning Commission and City Council granted the rezoning for the 0.25 acre, and you have not as yet moved forward on the land division. Guess I'm wondering why you didn't move forward in preparing those documents sooner before we had the meeting.
Sure, they're prepared, they're ready. We're just waiting to sign the dotted line on the contract to execute the purchase, and we can finalize that land consolidation as soon as that's done.
You suppose this might be done before this plan moves forward to City Council?
If we get approval tonight, there's a pretty good chance we could do that.
Okay, then I'd like to see that before this moves forward to City Council. That is Mr. Gager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, in terms of land divisions, my experience is usually the applicant doesn't want their land division to be effective until they close and acquire the property. And for obvious reasons, because the seller, if the deal doesn't go through for whatever reason, wouldn't want the land division to be effective. So, that information from the applicant is good to hear. I have no real issue with the modifications that are requested, because I think they're all very minor modifications, and they're all due to constraints within the site that that you've experienced. I do have some questions about the access drive that I wanted to ask you about. Now,
Sure.
now that entire access drive that we're seeing, that is within the boundaries of your, or will be within the boundaries of your property, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And will you, when you construct the site, will you be constructing that entire cross access with the curb cut to the south and the curb cut to the west?
So the curb cut to the south, I believe the curbing is already there. We would just add the connection into it.
Okay.
To the west, again, I think it's already there. It's a matter of cleaning it up and putting the pavement in where it needs to be.
Got it. And well, I don't know this. Do you have, or are there access easements in place, cross access easements with the properties to the south and to the west?
We are working on those as we speak. Again, we wanted to get through Planning Commission tonight to make sure that we are ready to move forward to finalize all those agreements and all those land divisions and consolidations and everything. Because as you said, we don't want to put undue hardship or unfair hardship on the property owner. If for some reason we decide to, for some reason this thing goes south and Planning Commission says there's no way in heck we're allowing you guys to do what we're trying to do here.
Well, then would you have any objections to us, having a condition of site plan approval that you have proper cross access easements in place with the property to the south and to the west?
I don't have a problem with that. Jake, are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, the cross access with Burger King, I mean, that was part of our land purchase agreement anyway. So I have no problem making that part of this agreement.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think that ends my questions. I just wanted to thank you again for bringing this forward. And, obviously with the landscaping, you've got constraints, but I think you're doing what you can. And this will be a much improved corner, and we're looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boyer.
Thank you. I just want to say the plans look great. I like that you removed the access closer to the intersection. The building looks so much better than the one that's there. It looks more organized, neat. I understand about the trees, the limited site. It's nice not to have trees, but you're going to do some shrubs. My question was on the plans. I noticed that you had crossed out the bike rack. But I did like the bike rack, and people do ride their bikes up there. So I wondered, are you thinking of anything for people that have their bikes coming up? Do you have a type of bike rack?
I didn't realize we crossed it out. I'm sure that we can add one in if we need to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. We're glad to hear that y'all like the design and like the look of it.
Yeah, no, great job. Thank you. That was all. The bike rack was my only question. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Mr. Reese.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree with the previous comments that have been made about the plans and the elevations. Two quick questions. What's the color of the shingles on the roof?
They're a gray, or I think we call them an architectural gray.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a pretty grayish, blackish.
Okay. And then I may have missed it, but I've looked up and down on the plans. Is there an air fill station?
An air pump?
Yeah, an air pump.
Yeah, we've got an air pump on there. It's jam-packed on the plan that I'm looking at on my screen. It's in the landscape plan, which is probably the mistake to put up if you need a quick answer. We are supplying one. If you give me a second, I can bring that up on my screen here, and I can hopefully direct you to where it needs to be.
It's along Rochester Road in the front.
Yeah.
Yep, right in the center. There's a little small rectangle. There's air.
I know that the Speedway station on Tinkin, that air station is about in the most inconvenient location that it can be, and I'm guessing it's probably in the same location on this plan as it is on the one on Tinkin and Rochester Road.
So this one is, it's located along Rochester in front. It's located right about the third canopy in from the shared access drive, or the third dispenser in from the shared access drive.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Is this is the distance between the berm or the curb and the pumps? much different than the one on Tinkin Road?
Unfamiliar with Tinkin Road.
It just gets really congested when someone's parking, trying to fill up their tires. It gets a little bit actually unsafe with people pulling in and out of under the canopies.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with that site, but again, we can. If you'd like us to relocate it, we can look for a new home for it. But
yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it in a different location, only from the standpoint that it's in the major thoroughfare. You're going to have a car parked there, people getting out of their car, and then not paying attention as cars are going back and forth past them. So if there's a better location, and looking at the plan, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but
I was just gonna ask you, Commissioner Reese, where exactly would you like to see us throw that?
Yeah, it's a pretty tight site already, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we have it now is pretty much our standard location.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, we can look for a new location and work with staff on it, but
I would just ask staff that maybe we take another look at it and see that. Otherwise, I have no other issues with the requested modifications. And I think it's a great plan, great site.
Thank you.
What drawing are you referring to, I guess, for what drawing number?
We're on sheet 8832 CS.
It's also, I think, on 8832 LP.
Yeah.
Same location, I believe. The little rectangle that says air.
Mr. Reese, I pulled up that speedway that you're questioning. And I guess I'll put it this way. If you go to the corner bend radius that's closest to Rochester Road and to the intersection, your speedway has the pump in that close to that bend, where this air pump is about 40 feet to the left.
You're right. It is in the bend at the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not in the same place. I don't know if that's still an issue or not for the motion.
All I'm going to request is look at it with staff, and if that's the best place, then that's the best place.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weaver.
I'm going to be echoing a lot of the same comments. I think this is a much needed upgrade at this corner. I really like the removal of the driveways closest to the corner. It is a very busy corner, so I think this larger building and nicer building, frankly, will better fit this area. I like the connection, the pass-through connection. I don't have an issue with the landscaping shortage. I think what you've done is very admirable to make up for the difference. So I think this is a nice and welcome upgrade to the corner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Weaver.
Mr. Hooper.
Thank you again, Chairperson Bernavic. Yeah, I really have nothing to add. I mean, it's kudos to the developer when he split off this property for you to purchase and improve this worn out gas station and convenience store. And I really supported it way back when the idea was proposed, when the redevelopment of that center was done, and the fact that you're following through with it and to beautify this corner is long overdue. I know we looked at it years ago in the past, and there just wasn't enough area for Speedway to redevelop with existing land. You need more land to do that properly. So don't really have any issue really with anything here. I wish you could do some more on traffic improvements, but I see you really, other than a little bit of widening of the deceleration lane going in, there's really not much you can really do here.
Yeah, we've done, I think, everything that we possibly can up until this point. So, we thank you for your consideration of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Getlaw.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple questions as far as because it's what, a 4,600 square foot building. So, I don't know the square footage. Maybe that's more of a question for staff at the one at the corner of Rochester Road and Tinkin. So I'm assuming it'll be relatively comparable.
Rochester and Tinkin. Again, I'm unfamiliar with Rochester and Tinkin, but it sounds to me like it could be a little bit of an older store. Maybe. Jake, do you know which one he's talking about?
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with that.
It would be at the northwest corner of Rochester Road and Tinkin.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Detloff, off the top of my head, that's shopping or that gas station was developed before our time here, so we weren't involved during the site plan.
I gotta believe that they're probably very comparable. But my other question, now that this is going to be a new facility, and given everything that's going on, with viruses and that, I'm wondering if there's any plans to incorporate any type of new sanitation methods or whatever that can be at the gas station. I know a lot of the speedways that I've been to right now, they have, like a sanitation station, inside the convenience store. I'm wondering if, and I'm assuming, again, that this is going to be part and parcel, or as they say, the new normal. But what about on the outside too, on the pumps itself? Any type of has there been any discussion on that? Anything new from CDC guidelines?
Let me put it this way, and then I'm going to kick it over to Speedway. I am not aware of any improvements of that nature. I know that they do have some programs set up for the time being for obvious reasons. Moving forward, I don't know what their plan is, and I don't necessarily know if Jake does. Jake, can you enlighten us on any of that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll mimic some of what Rob just said. I mean, we do have typical or temporary programs that are out there right now that we're utilizing. Is there a long-term plan in place? Unfortunately, I'm not aware. I'm the construction guy, so I'm not sure if there's any plans in the works right now for long-term solutions. But I can tell you that right now, all of our active stores, we are taking proper precautions in light of this virus. So.
Okay.
And also, Mr. Detloff, I looked up that store that you've asked about, and that looks to be the prototype before this one. So that store, I want to say, is right around 3,900 square feet.
Yeah,
so
that's what I thought. It'd be a little. Yeah, that one will be a little smaller. Okay, so we're looking at about 600-700 square. Okay, more. All right. Okay. Thank you, and thanks for the reinvestment in Rochester Hills too. Great looking plan, and so continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Neubauer.
Hi, thank you so much for the plan. It looks really good, and I'm excited to have the new building come up. I just have a question about the handicap parking. Is for the handicap space, is it going to be at the same elevation or as the curb, or is there going to be a curb cut put in?
I believe it comes in at the same elevation. Let me get to that plan here, and I should be able to tell you. It looks like we're at 8705. So I think it's, Erica, do you know?
Yes, it comes up at the same elevation. There's no actual curb cut. We match the finished floor at the building, and then we come a slope maximum of 2% away from there, and then the pavement is flush with that.
Okay. Okay, that was my only question. Although I do think it's a great idea if we had some kind of hand sanitizing stations, just even those little pumps next to each of the gas pumps. I think that'd be a great idea, but that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelsonis.
Thank you, Chairperson Bernabic. Before I get into a motion, I do have a question for the applicant. The brick columns on your store at Tinkin Road go all the way to the top. Why doesn't this one?
I think the ones that you're referring to, first of all, the ones that are there aren't technically brick. They are like a CMU product. And so I think they go up. What we're using here is more of a quick brick. It's more of a product that looks like brick. I think that's a little bit different style canopy that we have. It looks to me like it could be a little bit more dressed up, if you will. I don't know the rhyme or the reason behind there. I can say for the canopy columns that we put in here, we felt that given the size of the site and the size of the canopy, if you put in a structure like that, you lose the detail of what we did with the building, as well as it's a massive structure then blocking the view of the building. It looks massive on that lot. And I don't necessarily know if that's the look that you're going for here.
Okay. Let me, just to clarify a few items. Mr. Gaber, you requested there to be a motion that before council approval, the cross access easements and land division, was it paperwork be filed with the city or approved?
Well, the condition, Nick, was that, you know, there are cross access agreements in place with the property to the south and the property to the west. Nothing on the land division.
Okay. I think Ms. Bernavik, you asked about the land division, correct?
Yes, I would like to see the land division document completed before it goes to city council.
So just documented and filed.
Yeah, so obviously city council will know that the land division is complete.
Is the applicant okay with that motion?
We're good with it. Jake, you got any concerns?
No concerns from me here.
The other motion I want to discuss is the bike rack was marked out in red on your current plans. I guess we'll be putting that back.
Would you allow us to work with staff on the location of that?
Yes, I was going to mention that too. So at a location approved by staff. You good with that then?
We are.
Next item I have is the applicant work with staff to reconsider the location of the air pump based on lessons learned from other speedway sites in this area. I believe you asked for it that way. You're good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Chairperson Bernavik, I would like to.
Chairperson Bernavik, one
Yes.
quick correction on that. This item does not have to go to the city council.
Oh.
So you would be approving, if the commission so chose, you would be approving the tree removal permit and the site plan this evening.
Okay, it doesn't move to city council. So the document, the land division document will be completed before.
You could have them as before plans are stamped approved.
Okay.
Maybe not completed, but submitted and under review. However, the applicant needs to adjust that to get their purchase agreements and everything correct. But we could definitely have those items submitted and under review before we stamp anything approved.
For stamp approved, okay. Oh, it's supposed to be a public hearing.
No.
Okay. All right.
But I would like to ask Ms. Gentry if there are any email communications. And Ms. Vertiger, is there any public comment?
No, I don't have anyone indicating to speak right now. I did, however, receive an email over the weekend from someone indicating they thought it was a nice improvement to the corner.
Okay, thank you.
May I make one clarification about the bike rack?
Yes.
Rob, looking at the plan and just for everyone's awareness, that bike rack that we cross out, that is a standard Speedway detail sheet. The plans for this site have never included an actual bike rack in the site plan. It's not a requirement of the zoning code, I don't believe. Just wanted to make that clarification that it wasn't crossed off from the plan. It was never actually part of it.
It's something that it looks like we're going to be putting on if you work with the staff. Okay.
Okay, we can do that. Just want to make that clarification known. Thank you.
All right, Chairperson Bernavic.
Awesome.
I would like to move the motion in the packet for the tree removal permit in a matter of city file number 19-038.2, Speedway Gas Station Convenience Store remodel. The Planning Commission grants a tree removal permit based on plans received by the Planning Department on March 26, 2020, with the following two pre-printed findings and subject to the following, or to the written two pre-printed conditions.
I have the second by Mr. Reese. So I have a motion by Mr. Kalsunas, seconded by Mr. Reese, that the Planning Commission grants a tree removal. Discussion on the motion. We will take a roll call vote. Ms. Gentry, your mic is closed. Muted.
Kaltsunis,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Detloff,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yeah.
Newbauer,
Yes.
Bowyer,
Yes.
Bernabig.
Yes, that motion passes unanimously. Mr.
Bernavic?
Kalsunas, yeah.
Yes, sorry. I would like to move the motion to packet for the site plan in a matter of city file number 19-038.2, the Speedway Gas Station Convenience Center remodel. The Planning Commission approves the site plan based on plans dated and received by the Planning Department on March 26, 2020, with the following 9 pre-printed findings, 2 pre-printed conditions, with the additional condition that the following items be submitted before stamp approval, and that is the all cross access agreements and land divisions, or that they be added before plans are stamped approved. Next one, that the bike rack be added back into the plan at approved location at a location approved by staff. And that number 5, or the third added condition, that the applicant work with staff to reconsider the location of the air pump based on lessons learned from other speedway sites in this area.
Okay, so you have made the access points in the lane division one condition instead of 2 separate.
I could separate them if you like.
Would you please?
Okay.
So we'll have 4 additional conditions.
Yes, 4 addition, and then I'll split. Mo, do you want me to say it directly, or you got it?
I've got it.
She got it. All right, good.
Okay, for the second. Reese. I have a motion by Mr. Kalsunas, seconded by Mr. Reese, that the Planning Commission approves the site plan. Is there any discussion on the motion? Entry will take a roll call vote, please.
Kaltsunis,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Detloff,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Bowyer,
Yes.
Newbauer,
Yes.
Bernabig.
Yes, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody, and I'm looking forward to the redevelopment. The plan looks good, and it'll be nice to have that speedway updated.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for your investment in the community.
Problem. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Been quite the road we've been on, so thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
I was gonna say, you talked about the style of that other subway or speedway. We were out till 2 a.m. that day talking about that one.
You should have done it through Zoom. We were through this in 40 minutes.
Well, there was the very longest meeting in the history of the city. Mo remembers it. You'll never forget that one.
I was going to say, you'll never forget those. So thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Y'all have a great evening.
Good job.
Okay, I will move on to any other business. Ms. Rodiger?
Nothing on our end.
Okay, is there any other commissioner that has something? Mr. Calcinas.
I guess question to staff. What have you heard on the street with these developments that we have in the city going on?
Well, I mean, I think I'll let Kristen pipe up if she wants to, or Maureen, but I mean, in terms of the projects that we've been working on, everything is moving ahead. We haven't had any cancellations of anything that we're aware of. We had a couple that we expect to be coming before you shortly. And we actually have a concept meeting tomorrow for a new project. So we are still seeing things progress in the city. People want to be here still. You know, we get updates from our assessing department regularly, and you know, there's still quite a bit of real estate transactions that are occurring regularly, and good news for Rochester Hills. I mean, the values seem to be holding. So
our two biggies, City Walk and the apartments,
Legacy,
Hamlin Legacy. How are they looking? I saw City Walk, they blew out all the trees, and usually I feel guilty at that one. They did all the tree work.
Are you referring to Trio? City Walk is at Tinkin.
Trio.
Trio. Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I mean, I don't know if Jason has anything further because he's in the construction plan review. I mean, from our end, they've through the planning review and they're going through construction. So Jason, do you have an update?
They do have construction plan approval. They are working through the retaining wall that borders the north and east property line. They just submitted the first construction review of those. Once that's submitted, or once that's completed, I think everything else is in order besides monies. Then we'll have a pre-con and move forward with that project. The Legacy project is just on hold until, well, it was on hold during the order, but I believe they are still moving forward. We didn't hear anything else. And every other private project under review are moving forward. None have decided to delay or even pull back.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd just like to mention to everyone that our next meeting date is June 2nd, 2020, a special meeting date. Will everyone be in attendance? Does anyone know if they cannot attend that meeting?
So
should be there.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Mr. Calcinas.
Chairperson Bernabek, I would love to make a motion to adjourn.
Or
Okay, motion by Mr. Calcinas, seconded by Mr. Reese to adjourn the meeting. Take a roll call vote.
Calcinas,
Yes.
Reese,
yes.
Boyer,
Yes.
Newbauer,
Yes.
Weaver,
yes.
Detloff,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Chairperson Bernabek.
Yes, that motion passes unanimously. Everyone take care, stay safe. This was a nice meeting time, actually short compared to usual, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, I wanted to ask you, were you aware of the fact that if you put your mouse on the bottom of the screen, there's something that says participants that you can click on? It'll bring up the whole panel, and then there's an option that you can click on that says raise your
Raise
hand.
hand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay?
Got it.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
Night.
Okay.
Right. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Night.
Okay, good night.
Okay.
Bye.
Adios.
Happy Memorial Day.